They put these threads in, there's dozens of them, and they're kind of scattered out through this portion of your brain. And what Neuralink found was that a lot more of them had moved and shifted than what it had seen in these animal trials previously. One of the big hopes with this device was that it was going to have this incredible performance, or you're going to have the 1,000+ channels of information going back and forth. And so obviously that got limited quite a bit. And so not only is he kind of losing what felt like a superpower, it's like unclear if Neuralink's going to sort of move on past him to the next patient.
How much fine-tuning?
For example, if you stimulate neurons in the brain in the pattern of a triangle in just the right location, you can have a patient see a triangle. Or maybe if you wanted them to see a smiley face, you can do that too. And that's basically the premise of these computer vision, computer brain interfaces. With our natural eye-brain interface, our retinas and our optic nerves send vision data from the world around us to our visual cortex for processing. But with Neuralink's technology, they're basically replacing the eye and the optic nerve component with a camera and a computer instead. This is, of course, a lot easier said than big lecture halls, and there was a guest speaker talking to us that day. His name was John Donohue. I didn't know it at the time, but Dr. Donohue was actually one of the pioneers, one of the godfathers of computer-brain interfaces. During his talk, Dr. Donohue showed us videos of the technology he had been working on for years. He and his team were implanting electrodes or computer chips into people's brains and plugging them into computers. And I distinctly remember this grainy footage he showed us. He had patients who were paralyzed either from trauma or other spinal cord injuries, and with this technology, they were able to control computers, not with a mouse or a keyboard, but entirely with their minds. And they even had patients moving prosthetic limbs, all with their thoughts.
Now close it?
Now close. Nice. Open. That man, not bad at all.
This was in 2009 or 2010, and seeing this technology give people the power to physically control the world around them with just their thoughts, this expanded my reality.
The next product is BlindSight, which will enable people who have lost both eyes or have no eyesight whatsoever to see. And this is directly interfacing with the optical processing areas of the brain. So, I think this is interesting progress. Ultimately, the goal of Neuralink is to have a high bandwidth interface in order to mitigate the risk of digital superintelligence. I don't know. I'm not saying it will work to mitigate the risk. It is just it might help.
So, our second product is called BlindSight, which is to enable people who are completely blind, lost both eyes or optic nerve, or just can't see at all, to be able to see by directly triggering the neurons in the visual cortex.
I think in the next 6 to 12 months, we'll be doing our first implants for vision, where even if somebody's completely blind, we can write directly to the visual cortex. And we've had that working in monkeys. Actually, I think one of our monkeys now has had a visual implant for 3 years. And at first it'll be fairly low resolution, but long term you would have very high resolution and be able to see in multispectral wavelengths. So you could see an infrared, ultraviolet, radar, like a superpower situation. Like at some point, the cybernetic implants would not simply be correcting things that went wrong, but augmenting human.
Our natural eye-brain interface, our retinas and our optic nerves send vision data from the world around us to our visual cortex for processing. But with Neuralink's technology, they're basically replacing the eye and the optic nerve component with a camera and a computer instead. This is, of course, a lot easier said than done.
They were able, over the weeks, by working with him, and it's essentially machine learning software combined with him doing the practice. They were able to change the algorithms to sort of read the data out in different ways.